Hello, Junior Super Bowl. This is another Jack Burgess video. Another Irish of Independence character here. This is Cathal Brugha. He served as the Minister of Defense from the 1st of April 1919 to the 9th of January 1922. During that time, Eamon de Valera was the president. He was later preceded by Richard Mulcahy, but it was also he was later succeeded by Richard Mulcahy, but he's also preceded by him. He was the Kine Come Haley of the Dale Aaron. That comes up a couple of times. It just means chairperson, and I'm going to say it like that. I'm just going to say chairperson. He was in office for that 21st of January 1919 to 22nd of January 1919. He was the president of the Dale Aaron from the 21st of January 1919 to the 1st of April 1919. That kind of got dissolved after the Irish Republic went to the wayside. He was the Chief of Staff of the Irish Republican Army from the 27th of October 1917 to the 23rd of March 1918. He was the Tachta Dala from May 1921 to 7th of July 1922. He was the constituency of Waterford Tipperary East from December of 1918 to May of 1921. That's all. Everything past then's pretty much not that important. So I'm just going to get cracking on it. So, Cathal Brugha, born Charles William St. John Burgess on the 18th of July 1874 and later dying the 7th of July 1922, was an Irish Republican politician who served as the Minister of Defense, the chairperson of the Dale Aaron, and the first president of the Dale Aaron, and later chief of staff of the Irish Republican Army, as I stated. He was active in the Easter Rising, the Irish War of Independence, and the Irish Civil War, and was the first chairperson of the Dale Aaron, as well as the president of the Dale Aaron, which was then the title of the head of the government in Ireland. So he was born in Dublin, of mixed Roman Catholic and Protestant parentage. He was the 10th child in a family of 14. Wow. His father, Thomas, was a cabinet maker, an antique dealer who had been disinherited by his family for marrying an Irish Catholic, Mary Ann Flynn. Brugha attended Colmcille schools on Dominic Street until 1888, when he moved to Belvedere College. He had attended to study medicine, but this did not come to fruition after his father's business failed in 1890. Brugha was an austere figure, not very different from Eamon de Valera, and was known not to smoke cigarettes, swear, or drink alcohol. In 1899, Brugha joined the Gaelic League and subsequently changed his name from Charles Burgess to Cathal Brugha. He met his future wife, Kathleen Kingston, at an Irish class in Birr, County Offaly, and they married in 1912 in the Church of Three Patrons in Rathgar. They had 6 children, 5 girls and 1 boy. Brugha became actively involved in the Irish Republican Brotherhood, or the IRB, in 1913. He became a lieutenant in the Irish Volunteers. He led a group of 20 volunteers to receive the arms smuggled into Ireland in the Howth gun running of 1914. Brugha started work with Hayes and Finch, a firm supplying churches with candles in 1909. He and 2 of his workmates, Anthony and Vincent Layler, founded Layler Ltd., a candle-making and church supplies firm based at 14 Lower Ormond Quay. Brugha became a director and traveling salesman. Caitlin Kingston came from a large family of shopkeepers. Later, she ran Kingston's Drapery, one of Dublin's central draperies. Just a little background information there. He was second in command at the South Dublin Union under Commandant Amundsen in the Easter Rising of 1916. On the Thursday of Easter week, being badly wounded, he was unable to leave when the retreat was ordered. Brugha, weak from loss of blood, continued to fire upon the enemy and was found by Amundsen singing God Save Ireland, with his pistol still in his hand. He was initially not considered likely to survive. He recovered over the next week, but was left with a permanent limp. Brugha was elected chairperson of Dale Aaron at its first meeting on the 21st of January 1919, and he read out the Declaration of Independence in Irish, which ratified the establishment of the Irish Republic. On the following day, 22nd of January, he was appointed president of the Ministry pro tempore. He retained his position until the 1st of April 1919 when Eamon de Valera took his place. During the War of Independence, he was proposed as a Republican he proposed a Republican Constitution at the 1917 Sinn Féin Convention, which was unanimously accepted. In October of 1917, he became Chief of Staff of the Irish Republican Army and held that post until March 1918. All through the War of Independence, Brugha continued to run his business as a candle maker. He never went on the run. He was elected as a Sinn Féin Member of Parliament (MP) for the County Waterford constituency at the 1918 general election. In January 1919, Sinn Féin's MPs refused to recognize the Parliament of the United Kingdom and instead assembled at the Mansion House in Dublin as a revolutionary parliament called the Dáil Éireann. Owing to the absence of Eamon de Valera and Arthur Griffith, Brugha presided over the first meeting of Dáil Éireann on the 21st of January 1919. He had differences with Michael Collins, who, although nominally only the IRA's Director of Intelligence, had far more influence in the organization as a result of his position as a high-ranking member of the IRB, an organization that Brugha saw as undermining the power of the Dáil, and especially the Ministry of Defense. Brugha opposed the oath of allegiance required for membership of the IRB. In 1919, his proposition that all volunteers should swear allegiance to the Irish Republic and the Dáil was adopted. At a top-level IRA meeting in August 1920, Brugha argued against ambushes of Crown forces unless there was a first call to surrender, but was dismissed as unrealistic by the brigade commanders present. Brugha also had the idea of moving the front line of war to England, but was opposed by Collins. On the 7th of January 1922, Brugha voted against the Anglo-Irish Treaty during the treaty debates. He pointed out that Collins had only middling rank in the Department of Defense, which supervised the IRA. Even though Griffith hailed him as the man who had won the war, it had been argued that by turning the issue into a vote on Collins' popularity, Brugha swung the majority of the vote against his own side. Frank O'Connor, in his biography of Collins, states that the two delegates who had intended to vote against the treaty changed sides in sympathy with Collins. After the vote, the anti-treaty TDs moved into opposition, and Brugha was succeeded as Minister of Defense by Richard Mulcahy. In 1899, Brugha joined the flipped to the wrong page. All right. In the months between the treaty debates and the outbreak of the Civil War, Brugha attempted to dissuade his fellow anti-treaty army leaders, including Roy O'Connor, Liam Mellows, and Joe McKelvey, from taking up arms against the Free State when the IRA occupied the Four Courts. He and Oscar Traynor called on them to abandon their position. When they refused, Traynor ordered the occupation of the area around O'Connell Street in the hope of... Okay, well, let me change pictures. This is a dedication to him at O'Connor Street. Traynor ordered the occupation of the area around O'Connell Street in the hope of easing the pressure of the Four Courts and of forcing the Free State to negotiate. On the 28th of June 1922, Brugha was appointed commandant of the forces in O'Connell Street. The outbreak of the Irish Civil War ensued in the first week of July when the Free State forces commenced shelling of the anti-treaty positions. Most of the anti-treaty fighters under Oscar Traynor escaped from the O'Connell Street when the buildings they were holding caught fire, leaving Brugha in command of a small rear guard. On the 5th of July 1922, he ordered his men to surrender but refused to do so himself. In Thomas Lane, he then approached the Free State troops, brandishing a revolver, and sustained a bullet wound in the leg, which severed a major artery, causing him to bleed to death. He died on the 7th of July, 11 days before his 48th birthday. He had been re-elected as anti-treaty TD at the 1922 general election, but died before the Dáil assembled. He is buried in Glasnevin Cemetery. All right, that's all I have. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.